Hi there, I'm Mikey. I'm 25 years old, and I almost lost my girlfriend because I didn't think she was perfect enough. This all has to do with a strange new technology. But before I tell you about holographic filters that make people look like walking Snapchats, take a second to subscribe for more hidden wisdom stories. My story begins when I found a new job. See, I was just bumming it around at this pizza shop I had been working at for years, watching all my friends graduate school and start their careers, and I wanted in on payday like everybody else. Anyways, I got to talking with this real slick technology salesman who came into the pizza shop. He said I seemed like a smart kid, and he was looking for a few good salesmen for his team. He gave me his card, but it took me a week to finally call. His name was Chad, and we met up at this real classy restaurant where he told me all about what it takes to sell the future. He owned his own sales company that focused on technological innovations. He believed the future that we all dreamed of as kids was actually here, but most people lacked the vision or the courage to bring it to society at large. I didn't even realize that it was a job interview, but Chad said he knows if he can work with somebody after watching them eat. Luckily, I passed the test, and I worked my fingers to the bone pushing these tech products that Chad wanted to put into the hands of our customers. I was getting good on the phone, and I guess Chad saw something in me, so he promoted me to account manager. And I was getting a commission slice from everybody working under me. For the first time in my life, I had more money than I knew what to do with. Chad and I became really close, and almost every week, we would hit the town. But no matter how much money I had, Chad seemed to have more. And when I learned he was a year younger than me, I felt this urge to compete with him. I wasn't trying to beat him or anything, I just wanted to keep up. But I nearly gave up the night I met Helen, Chad's girlfriend. Helen was amazing, and I felt strange around the two of them, like I was inadequate and lucky to be in their presence. He had money and a beautiful girlfriend, and I felt like I was choking on his dust. Helen kind of intimidated me, and I didn't like being a third wheel. I explained this to Chad, but he just laughed and said it was no problem. They'd find me the perfect girlfriend, and then we would double date in style. Helen said she knew just the friend, and I met Vivian, who was easy to fall for. I realized I was playing a role. I was talking a lot about money and stuff. And if she met me not long ago when I was delivering pizzas, she probably wouldn't have given me the time of day. At one point, I commented on a unique birthmark on her chin, but Vivian told me it was a scar. It took me off guard, but Chad interrupted us before I could stick my foot further into my mouth. Vivian and I grew to have feelings for each other, and I liked to buy her fancy dinners and extravagant clothes. But still, no matter what I bought or how much I tried to show off, Chad was ahead of me. He drove a different car every day of the week, and he had every new tech gadget imaginable. I bought a new watch for myself and a diamond necklace for Vivian before we joined Chad and Helen one afternoon on Chad's yacht. I was expecting the necklace to make a splash, but the perfect couple had a surprise for us. There was something about Helen we couldn't put our fingers on, but she looked great, like she was practically glowing. "You guys aren't gonna ask?" Chad said, nodding toward Helen. We were both tongue-tied. And then Helen said, "Here, I'll show you." And she tugged on her ear, and suddenly the glow went away, and she looked different. "Whoa, what happened to your face?" Vivian asked. "I'm using a live filter." Helen tugged on her ear again, and her face lit up like a nightlight, airbrushed in an instant, and her eyes sparkled with her smile. "It goes on the market next month," Chad said, "and you're gonna be my #1 salesman, so you better get to know how it works." It was light and small, and it fits right behind your ear. It measures the shape of your head and displays a holographic filter centimeters from the skin. I was in awe of Chad's visions, but Vivian thought it was a horrible prospect for the future. She imagined a world of people with glass skin and dog faces walking around, and for some reason, it offended her. But I just kept thinking about that scar on her chin, and how I'm sure Helen and Chad noticed it. And then I remembered that Helen introduced us, and I wondered if maybe that's how she saw me. Flawed, only good enough for some Scarface. I became increasingly self-conscious about my own looks after that, and more, Vivian's scar bothered me. At work, I set up my sales plan and worked strategies with my team. I planned to tackle leads generated by makeup companies. I imagined a day when nobody wore makeup any longer, only face filters. I knew Vivian was resistant, so I practiced my sales pitch to her, seeing if I could pique her interest. Well, I couldn't, and when I asked her to try it, she got all bothered. But I knew that the next time we went out with Chad and Helen would have her filtered face on, and I didn't want to feel left behind. So I kept pushing it, and took it too far. I suggested the face filter would fix her little scar. Vivian got so offended that she said I should wear the stupid thing if I wanted to try it so bad. And then she walked out on me, and I was back to being the third wheel. But I couldn't stop thinking about that scar of hers and what it said about me. Maybe it wasn't such a bad idea to try the filter myself. When I first turned it on, I seemed different. But after a while, it became normal, and I thought I looked pretty good. I didn't need Vivian, I just needed a date. And now, with my face filtered all the time, that wasn't going to be a problem. Some girls looked at me like I was an alien, but most were in awe and thrilled to try it on themselves. But I noticed something strange. Almost every girl I went out with wanted to adjust the filter differently. Some would want to give me a beard or different color eyes. Sometimes when I'd turn off the filter at night, I'd be surprised at my own real face, kind of like looking at a picture of yourself as a child. I was out at the market one evening when I saw somebody I recognized. She had such a familiar face, but I couldn't place it. But then she was calling my name. "It's me, Helen," she said. "You didn't recognize me without the filter, did you?" I asked what happened to it. Helen told me that she quit the filters. And I laughed at first because I didn't believe it. I asked what Chad thought about that. Helen said they weren't together anymore. She told me that it was just a show. Her relationship was about as real as her face filter. Chad spent too much time trying to make her appear perfect on the outside that he lost sight of who she was on the inside. She didn't like herself at the end of the day because without the filters, she felt ugly and was dealing with some serious body image issues. She begged me to stop selling it, but how could I? It was my job, my lifeline. It was what Chad wanted. But then, maybe she had a point. I read around on the internet, and I learned about this thing they call Snapchat dysmorphia, where some people can't cope with a realistic version of themselves. I talked to Chad about it, but he refused to budge. And he said he wouldn't have me telling him what to do with his business. He didn't even want to consider any of the research I was showing him. But how could I continue peddling something that was causing so much damage? I went home and shut off my filter for good. I called Vivian to apologize. I told her that I didn't see how harmful it was in the beginning, but now I see better. I told Vivian she was perfect just the way she was. There's a simple proverb out there. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And there's nothing broken about any of us or some unrealistic expectation of perfection. Beauty isn't about filtered technology. It's about everything that makes us unique, blemishes and all. I quit working for Chad, and Vivian helped me develop my own sales force, promoting products I believed in. What makes you unique? Tell us about it in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden wisdom stories. Remember, when you share our stories, you're sharing wisdom.